Beneath the fog-drenched trees of Appalachia, something stirs. Goatmen, hollow-eyed fae, pale beasts that scream in the dark. These aren't just stories, they're warnings. We are back! Hey there, aspiring horror authors. It's another episode of Sako and the Moon by two self-published horror authors walking the path of horrorcraft and marketing. Woo! And we're three today because we have the wonderful and fantastic Renmeleon. Say hi to me back.
We'll have to rename the show here if we keep this up.
I know, right?
And sadly, this will be my last time until they decide to drag me back in, kicking and screaming. Ha
I mean, after her experience of watching Hush, she was like, "Yeah, it was a great movie. I'm gonna watch it
again." I don't want to watch it again.
Yeah, it was like it's one of those I don't need to see it a second time, but now I'm actually gonna rewatch it just because I want to check details because continuity possibilities were brought up, and I'm like, okay, I gotta find this now.
Someone did say that they looked, and I think Mint was in the comments, and she had mentioned that the hornet spray was used with the other hand. Like one hand was injured, the other hand.
Yeah, because that's what I wanted to check after the claw hammer bit.
Yeah, so it's a golden rule in horror that you should watch every movie twice.
Yeah.
At least twice.
You can see that.
I am dark artist and designer Sako Toomey, but I also write horror under the name Cass Voight. I do a bunch of other things, but we'll just mention that I'm published 4 times over. That's 3 standalones and an anthology. And I'm working on a couple of books and a serial. I've been working on my craft for decades, and now I'd like to share my skills with you guys.
And I'm just an artist that's dark, Dwan L. Hearn, more affectionately known as the Moon. This is the second time I've used that joke. I'll probably do it again. I write things, I film things, and I talk to people. And stay tuned, because apparently I'm going to do that a whole lot more soon.
Ren, do you have an intro?
Yeah. I am Anna Maria Salvaggio, otherwise known as Renmeleon, short for the Renaissance Chameleon. I am a nerd of all trades, and podcasting is a passion I'm wanting to revisit for myself. So you might see me on here at some point because I'm wanting to kind of reactivate my YouTube. But I'm live on Twitch 4 times a week, and I mentor, teach K-12 online, and do all the things. So Cryptids have always been a thing for me, so I'm excited for today.
Yeah! The Appalachian region, indeed. The Appalachian region is steeped in vibrant blend of myths and legends shaped by Native American traditions, European folklore, and local storytelling. This cultural fusion has given rise to a unique landscape of cryptid lore, mysterious creatures that serve as both cautionary tales and reflections of regional identity. These stories passed down through generations not only entertain, but also preserve the values, fears, and wonders of the Appalachian communities, making cryptids a vital part of the area's cultural fabric.
So I want to make sure we threw in here, just because here's the thing. Like, Sako, you're from Virginia. Me and Ren, we're from Kentucky. No matter
pronunciation.
There's going to be some people who are going to critique us on pronunciation of Appalachia. All right. Kentucky folk, please calm down. Okay. Different parts of the region will pronounce it differently. Neither is wrong. You guys can't say Versailles right, so let's not Let's not criticize. And I'm born and raised in Kentucky, so I'm talking about us. We don't pronounce.
Well, I'm from Florida.
It's
It
Versailles,
was
not for sales. Versailles, and that's not even our most egregious, but that's what we're going to start with, so we're going to leave it there. Point being, I know how y'all want to be. Quit correcting. I know we say Appalachia. Okay. Just let it be. But beyond that, anyone from not this region will probably have no clue where the Appalachian Mountains are. So I wanted to cover that the Appalachian Mountains are kind of in that space where Ohio and Virginia meet, and they go kind of like up and down. They cover, I wrote it down last night, they cover the states, they go from Newfoundland, Canada, all the way down to Alabama. In the United States, they cover the following states. The list: Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. Covers a lot of this half of the United States. These are areas that were once the home of multiple Native American tribes. So a lot of these cryptids, their existence, their lore, their backstory has origin in Native American folklore, and probably furthered by moonshine, for being honest.
And multiple nationalities of immigrants too.
So a lot of here's how this episode's going to ride. These two know what they're talking about when it comes to cryptids. This is not my category, so I'm going to be the voice for those out here who have no idea what the hell we're talking about, because I want to have no idea what the hell they're talking about. But of course, doing my due diligence, I did some research. Yes, it's color coded, and so I'm familiar with some of these. There's about 10 on this list, and
I don't even have that many, I don't think.
There are 10 on this list. And no, wait, yeah, there's 10 on this list. And I just want to know what I was dealing with. Yo, are all cryptids just like fever dreams of like zookeepers? Like,
yeah.
Like if you were a zookeeper and you wanted to dream of the most nightmare thing to come into your zoo, cryptids.
Yep.
So sit back, relax, relieve your mind for a moment, because these things are creepy. And I'll let the experts kick things off from here, and I'll just try to like fill in the blanks. That's why I had to get in when I had to get in where I fit in, which is at the beginning, because I want to make sure people knew where we were talking about, what regions, and because I didn't realize that they went that far north.
I didn't realize they went to Canada.
Some of these creatures are crazy.
Went to Canada.
Some of these creatures are crazy. Yeah.
I'm not even gonna go ahead. Y'all go ahead.
Okay, so I have a couple of parts. The first part is classic cryptids of the region. And let's start with the Wampus Cat. The Wampus Cat is a cryptid rooted in Cherokee legend, said to be the spirit of a woman cursed for donning a cougar's skin and spying on sacred rituals. Over time, the tale has evolved, with some accounts placing the creature near schoolyards or casting it as a guardian of the forest. Often portrayed as both fearsome and mystical, the Wampus Cat embodies themes of curiosity, punishment, and transformation, making it a powerful symbol in Appalachian folklore.
Yeah, I got that one on my bingo card. Which cryptid bingo cards? That needs to be a thing.
It is a thing today.
I need the cryptid bingo card, because I got one.
I'll make you one.
Thank you, because that's just such a weird. It's such a weird creature. So what I read was essentially what you said. It was came from a woman who wanted to spy on a male-only ceremonial dance. And so she donned the hide of a mountain lion and was spying on this ritual. She got caught, and then she got cursed. And, not okay. And then now she's just out Tennessee spooking people. That's crazy.
Sounds like it could have originated as like a male cautionary tale to keep the women out kind of thing.
I was like, oh, you want to come too, honey? No. You know the last time a woman came out to this ceremony?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think these are the kind of stories that because as a horror writer, it's so much fun to dig into the origins and the backstories, and sometimes it's just a fan of word origins to look at where things originated, what caused a word to be a word or a thing to be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like cryptids, as I was doing some research, I feel like cryptids are kind of the opposite of that. They're the kind of villain or the kind of bad guy, or more so the kind of creature that is
Antagonist.
Yeah, the antagonist that is, it's better left as is. Like the less you know, the creepier they are. And I feel like this is a good point of study. I will probably look more into these as time progresses. But while I may not use creatures like this in my work, I feel like understanding where this spooky comes from is good for any horror writer. Because remember, part of this show, particularly this podcast, which is not a movie review, is to help the writer, right? And the lesson here is do your research. Even if it's a space that you may not be writing in, do the research, because you might learn something from this space and be able to use that lesson, that tip in the work that you have. Maybe if you're writing a slasher, having a slasher without a backstory might be scarier, just like these cryptids are fucking spooky.
You should get Issa on here sometime and do another cryptid episode. Her Monday night art stream is she does creature mashups where we give her a biome and 3 or 4 creatures, and she makes a creature with a backstory, stats, and everything for D&D. But she's gotten prolific with creating creatures and coming up with backstory, and it kind of reminds me of finding all these cryptids with all these cautionary tales, and I think she'd be a fun one to have on the show.
Yeah, she goes live every once in a while on Twitch, just like you do, and she'll do that on her lives. She'll just say, "Hey," to the audience, "Give me a creature. You give me a creature. And you give me a creature." And she tries to right there live put the creature together and create one thing, one cryptid, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, we're working on the book.
Ooh,
we're doing a zoology book.
Is that an exclusive? Did you just give us an exclusive? Did you? Just say yes. Doesn't have to be true. It's fine.
Okay.
This is fiction. It's fine. It doesn't have to be true. It's fine.
Okay.
Right. What's next on the bingo card, or do we have more on the Wampus Cat?
Do you have on
stories?
The bingo card? The next one is the Goat Man.
That one was right up there with Bigfoot.
I don't have Goat Man.
Yeah, the Goat Man is a folkloric creature often associated with remote locations like bridges or lovers' lanes, where eerie encounters are said to occur. Known for mimicking voices or hypnotizing unsuspecting wanderers, the Goat Man embodies primal fears tied to isolation and vulnerability. The legend taps into deeper mythological roots, blending the settling allure of human-animal transformation with the terror of losing control in liminal, shadowy places.
It's been tied in with skinwalkers.
Skinwalkers.
Quite a bit, too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that one on my bingo card either.
Skinwalkers is a whole nother podcast. Yeah. Skinwalkers.
I'm here for it then. Yeah, I'm here for it. So it's a goat man, right?
Goat man.
So I'm assuming this is a goat human hybrid.
It is.
Some goat human. Do we have any like known stories? Because one of the things, and we'll get to them eventually, I'm sure. Some of the stories with the cryptids that I found have specific events that are like kind of
leading up to it.
Yeah, or like no, more so like there's like an incident that, you know, a particular incident where a creature was seen or was thought to have caused X, Y.
I have a couple of anecdotes.
There's a couple. I have a couple of those on my list that I'm sure you're going to get to, because I'm not even. This is just so I know what I'm talking about somewhat. I am not the expert on today's.
You're here for the ride.
I am here for the ride. I'm the dude in the back seat with the map and the iPod just cruising along. I have no control over nothing. But I'm just curious. Like, do we have any known stories, fictional or otherwise, that utilize some of these creatures? Do you have one on the goat man or the wampus cat so far? I don't want to jump ahead.
I do have one for the wampus cat, but I use it at the end.
Okay, well, it was here for that. Yeah.
I have one for the not deer.
Is that next? Is that our next one?
It is not next.
Oh, well, save it for the end, because it's on my bingo card. I gotta make sure I get to it.
Okay. Should I could look it up real quick.
Again, this is why I love doing a live show. I love doing live shows. Live shows are the best. One, they take the least amount of work as far as behind the scenes. It's just like hit play, do shit.
One popular version involves a scientist at Beltsville, Maryland, during goat experiments, undergoes a horrifying transformation into a goat man hybrid. Another, more historical story focuses on Oscar Washburn, a black goat farmer in Denton, Texas, who was supposedly lynched by the Ku Klux Klan and now haunts the old Alton Bridge as the Goat Man.
That's further reaching even from.
So that first one sounds like The Fly, but a goat.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
And then the second one that's kind of a classic story. It kind of ties into The Woman in Black that we reviewed yesterday, where it's just someone was harmed, someone was wronged, death followed, and then haunting followed even after that. More so, that sounds like The Candyman, which is the movie that we're going to be reviewing next Monday. Told you, I am Segway King. I can do this.
This coming Monday.
This coming Monday, we are going to be reviewing the movie Candyman. And if you're confused about which Candyman we're reviewing, the old one or the new one, you're right. We are going to be doing, for the first time, we're going to be doing a comparative review, sort of how those two movies, one's a requel of the first one. And if you're not familiar with the term requel, tune in Monday and I'll discuss requels, or watch Scream 5, which in itself is a requel. But Mindy does a good explanation of a requel. I'll do a semi-decent one. But tune in Monday either way so you can catch our review on Candyman, which feels like that goat man that you just described. Something happened and now he haunts.
In Kentucky, check this out. The Pope Lick monster, a similar cryptid, is often associated with a devil worshiper who sacrificed goats and was cursed to live as a hybrid.
I'm curious who cursed them. Who had the power to curse them? Who's the cursor, as it would?
Look that up.
Because that's an interesting, when you're looking at the dynamic of creatures, what or who is the one?
It's like right in your neck of the woods too, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Part man, part goat, part sheep creature reported to live beneath a railroad trestle bridge over Pope Lick Creek.
That checks.
In the Fisherville neighborhood of Louisville, Kentucky, United States.
Mm-hmm.
Uses hypnosis, voice mimicry, to lure trespassers into the trestle to meet their death before an oncoming train.
And keep in mind, guys, like these are classic, not so much like classic powers like you would think with superheroes, but these are like classic tools of deception. The sirens of ancient mythology would essentially do the same thing. They would lure you in with song and hypnosis and make you believe that there's someone else just so you would go to trust them. These are classic tropes that are used throughout mythology. These are classic tropes used throughout horror because they work. If I was to hear my daughter in the other room yell, "Daddy, Daddy, I need help," first, I'd be very, very surprised because she doesn't talk in sentences like that. But either way, I'd be so concerned that I would instantly just run. And whatever bad guy, creature, monster, goat, man, wampus, cat was trying to get me, I'm about to get got because I'm going to look out for my daughter. If my wife was suddenly, she's supposed to be at work. If she was in the other room, suddenly I'm trying to figure out why is she home. I'm going to get up. I'm going to leave. And that's a great way to lure me out. They do it because they know it works. And it's a great tool to utilize when creating your stories, when creating your own creatures, for your own mythology, for your own stories. Because again, I want to make sure that when we talk about these topics, as interesting as cryptids are, because they are fascinating. You start getting into this. This episode's going to be dope. As we get into this, we can't forget our ultimate mission is to help the writers out here doing their own thing. So as the independent, as you are, as we are, go out there, do these kind of research, look up these things that you may not care about, creatures in the mountains, but these little notes from them, like I mentioned earlier, these are the things that you will use when creating your own creatures, something unique, something original, so that when you're looking for putting yourself out there for traditional publishing or whatever, these new creatures, these new bad guys, this new something different, that's what's going to end up putting you on the shelf above everyone else. So keep that in mind. Don't forget our mission here.
Good example of that is Owl Going Back, who is a friend of mine from Florida that wrote Crota. He was up for the Bram Stoker. He's won the Bram Stoker, I think, for one of his other books. But Crota is steeped in, he's 100% Native American, and there's a lot of folklore and everything in that book. But you had mentioned a couple of things that kind of go along with the rules. Like, you don't whistle or sing in the woods. You don't stare into the woods too long. If you hear a voice or if you see somebody that's not supposed to be there, that's a mimic, probably.
Run.
Yeah. Actually, you're not supposed to acknowledge it at all. So you completely ignore it. You don't run. You don't react to it. That was always a big thing. Yeah.
I'm going to suddenly forget something I need to go to the car for, and I'm out.
Yeah, exactly. My ex had a run in with something in the woods one time, and it freaked the living daylights out of him. And it's that whole, I want to run, but I can't run. I need to walk calmly, go back to the truck, car, don't fumble with the keys, don't listen to it, don't acknowledge. Yeah,
this is why folks this is why we don't mess with the woods, man. This is why listen, if you don't mess with the woods, especially the backwoods Kentucky, I got no business there.
Yeah.
None. I'm a city boy. I have got no business out there in the sticks.
Yeah.
I'm smooth. This is why. This is amongst other reasons, but this is why.
With Goatman, we were talking origin, is some say it was once a goat farmer who made a deal with Satan and sacrificed his goats in exchange for supernatural powers, and he became a twisted hybrid and haunted the bridge ever since. Right. Native American curse. There was a manifestation of a curse placed by a Native American tribe because the bridge was built on sacred ground. Okay. But the one that I've heard the most is that it was an escaped circus freak. That it was once a circus performer who was mistreated by its owners and escaped the train. After a train derailed on the trestle, he took refuge under the bridge and vowed revenge on anybody who crossed his path. So that was the one. That's the one that I've heard the most.
That's a movie I'd watch.
Yeah,
it's 88 minutes of something I would watch.
Exactly. Anything circus, I'm in.
Yeah, circus guy jumps off, he escapes, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna get this motherfucker. Yeah, that's 88 minutes I'm willing to watch.
Apparently, legend has it that he likes to drop down from the trellis and land on the roofs of cars that are passing by over the bridge. So
nope. I've seen enough movies that those kinds of bridges, and listen, just look those kind of bridges up. Yeah. I know I've heard too many damn stories. I've seen too many horror movies that take place on those. You can go, no, I'm gonna go 75 miles an hour if I have to cross one of those, because I'm not gonna stay on that bridge very long.
And in paranormal, like if you go ghost hunting, water is it's like with spiritual stuff, quartz crystal magnifies. Paranormal stuff, water magnifies, especially moving water. So stuff over bridges, or under bridges, I'm totally game to that. Don't want to be there, but can see why it would be there because it draws power.
I just need a shirt that just has it's just black, white letters that says nah.
I'm making notes.
I'm making notes.
Okay, so how about we move on to the sheep squatch or the white things? The white things, also known as the sheep squatch, are tall, white-furred creatures reportedly seen in West Virginia, often appearing just before storms. Their piercing shrieks add to their eerie presence, suggesting they may serve as omens of natural upheaval or manifestations of deep-seated fears about the untamed wilderness. In folklore, they function as cautionary figures, warnings to travelers not to stray from the safety of their familiar paths.
In other words, don't go chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to.
Yeah,
otherwise the sheep squatch is gonna. That name by itself just grabbed my attention when I was doing my research. I'm like,
it sounds like a Wallace and Gromit episode.
Yeah, it's like, what is this? Like, okay. I'm like, yeah, no, that's Boone. That's Boone County, West Virginia. Shout out to Boone County, West Virginia. Y'all can keep all that shit there where y'all at.
West Virginia feels like it's got more than any of them.
It's all hills and mountains in West Virginia.
I had family in Wheeling. Actually, I still have family in Wheeling, West Virginia.
I don't know the geography for real, but I feel like it's all mountains, all sticks, all woods, all trees. Like that's all of West Virginia, and I'm like, it's all hollers. It's all hollers, and it's where the sheep squatch lives. I'm good.
And hollers by themselves are like panic inducing. I've been in one in Tennessee.
When you're from this area, you don't even have to know what a holler is exactly. You just know that you ain't supposed to be in them hollers unless you're supposed to be in them hollers. And there's reasons why. And you don't have to know what they are. You just know they're there. And that's good enough.
And that's good enough.
Yeah.
What's next?
Alien and modern cryptids.
Actually, do we want to bring up the one that I found before we did that?
Do you have a classic that you
Snallygast? The Snallygaster in Maryland.
Got one.
Which
in Frederick?
Yeah. So I think Sako needs to go to all the museum stuff for this one because they actually have a museum. That one was 18th century German immigrants. And it was originally a Schnellergeist or quick spirit. It's half reptile, half bird, winged beast, and went after children and chickens. And it's near South Mountain. But didn't see anything as far as a curse or anything like that. More it sounds like it was like a cautionary tale for kids kind of thing, like the
boogeyman.
what's the one children's book, the German children's book with the scissors and the thumb? You probably know what I'm talking about. Maybe I don't know if you're confused.
No.
There's a children's book that talks about basically if the kids are bad, that somebody's going to come after them and cut off their thumbs. And I'm like, and it was fairly horrific children's book, but my family
who's reading this to kids?
So I know, and German culture has some really interesting. Well, we have the Brothers Grimm, and there's just so many weird. Yeah, it's like the original Edward Scissorhands. But but I didn't see anything like that with the Snallygaster, but I haven't done a really deep dive yet.
Yeah, I had that one on my bingo card from Frederick County, Maryland. Blood-sucking, dragon-like. It had wings and horns and a reptilian tail and scales, and it's been seen from 1735 specifically, 18th century, seen in Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. West Virginia's got all these things, man.
Yeah, but that's close enough to Sako. I think Sako should go. And if you want to,
I have friends out there. I could go visit anyway.
You want to go on a hunt with me?
Like, hell no.
Hell no.
Hell no.
Like Val and I'll go do it.
Y'all can call me when y'all get back.
It's like going to Waverly.
And don't even like video chat me. I don't want them things creepy to me through the phone. I don't even know if they're digital now. We got Wi-Fi everywhere. Traveling on Starlink or something. All right, we got some more.
All right, we got the Mothman.
Classic.
A classic.
Shout out to Michael.
First reported in Point Pleasant, West Virginia in the 60s. Mothman is described as a winged humanoid with glowing red eyes. Sightings surged before the tragic collapse of the Silver Bridge in 1967, cementing its place in regional legend as an omen of disaster. Today, Mothman is both a pop culture icon and a local symbol of mystery and resilience, celebrated through annual festivals and countless adaptations.
They love the Mothman.
They love the Mothman.
It's kind of like Metropolis with all the Superman stuff.
Which is a real city.
Mount Pleasant. Yep.
It's a real city.
I almost moved there.
Real city in southern Illinois. It's Metropolis. And they are Superman obsessed.
Yeah. Point Pleasant is like that too, and I really want to go do like a weekend stay over kind of thing and just run around and explore.
I've also seen the Mothman associated with an earthquake in Mexico City. They claim that they either saw him either before or after that earthquake, so they attributed the earthquake to the Mothman. So we are. I don't know the guy personally. We've spoke. We're associated. But Michael Nost, didn't he write like Return of the Mothman or something Mothman related?
Like that. Yeah,
I'm looking.
That's someone.
I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah,
very close. He's written something Mothman related. He's associated with Stephen and Holly, who we've talked about 1,000,000,001 times because they're associated with 7 Star Press and the Imaginarium Convention that we will all be present in July. Holly and Stephen need to sponsor this show.
Yeah, Mothman Files and Return of the Mothman. He's written too.
So I don't know if we can ever get. I don't know if we can get Nos on the show, but we'll.
I will try.
Yeah.
I mean, if any podcast would be able to pull it off besides Star Chamber, it'd be us. We could probably pull it off.
We could probably pull it off.
Michael's sweet.
Seems like a cool guy. I've had a few words here and there with Nost. So much the way he's if you want to know what kind of guy he is, he's got an award named after him at the Imaginarium Convention. There is a Michael Nost Award. So when you have an award named after you, you've made an impact.
All right.
One more, I get a bingo.
The Flatwoods Monster.
Bingo.
Bingo. Those are
Also known as the Braxton County Monster, emerged in 1952 following a UFO sighting in Flatwoods, West Virginia. Witnesses described a towering figure with glowing eyes, a spade-shaped head, and mechanical-like movement. Whether alien, cryptid, or hoax, the creature has become a fixture in local lore, blending Cold War anxieties with Appalachian storytelling.
Yeah, this one was an interesting one for me. One, the name was kind of weird, but it's like it's Frankenstein style the way it was described. 10 to 12 feet, green face, red body, claws, glowing eyes, and people talked about a metallic odor. That even after the events, if you went back to the site, you would still smell what smelled like metal or something metallic in the air, and that was kind of their sign or proof that this monster existed. Which I love this idea, because a lot of our ideas of things come from the unknown. It's like if there's something happening that we can't explain, we fill in the blanks with whatever makes the most sense. And I love that's how a lot of these creatures seem to come about one way or another.
How about you, Ren? Do you have any notes about that one? No.
I actually had not heard of that one yet, and I've got it on my deep dive list. So I had not heard anything on that. That was a new one for me.
Yeah, this is rabbit hole material, people. If you wanted something rabbit hole material from this show, congratulations, Cryptids is it. There's all kinds of videos, and I think the Travel Channel has some shows covering cryptids. Like there's
SCP.
Yeah, it's actually
anything labeled SCP. You know,
it's actually in Fallout 76. Yeah, they put it. It is a Zeton, the name for the aliens in the Fallout franchise that teleports, takes control of animals and turrets, and shoots purple lasers. And it's based on the Flatwoods monster.
Hot damn! There you go.
And I've seen. That's one of the things I kind of want to, add to the research list is depictions of cryptids in popular culture, as far as like video games and that kind of thing.
And that just shows you can take inspiration from these things and do whatever. Like, again, origin of the show, like as independent, go out while everyone is remaking all these different classic franchises or whatever. There's a requel coming of I Know What You Did Last Summer of all franchise. Instead of putting out all of these requels and rehashes, think of something original. There's a lot of original work out there. So let's encourage more original work out there by taking inspiration from creatures like this and doing our own thing with them. But that one's interesting because it's weird. Strange.
Speaking of weird, I want to talk about the not deer.
Yeah, buddy.
Bingo list.
I am so let's go with this one. I love this one.
All right. It's a modern Appalachian cryptid rooted in the online folklore and oral tradition, especially prevalent in western North Carolina and surrounding regions. On the surface, it resembles a deer, but witnesses describe it moving in an unnatural, jerky way, having too many joints, forward-facing eyes, or proportions that are slightly off. It's often encountered on back roads or forest edges, typically at night, evoking a deep sense of wrongness in those who see it. Unlike traditional cryptids, the not deer reflects more psychological horror, the uncanny and the subtle, tapping into the fear of something familiar turned alien. It's not just a creature, but a feeling, often described in personal anecdotes like, I knew it wasn't a deer, but my brain wouldn't admit it.
Yeah, that's why I like the not deer. The not deer is the kind of cryptic potential antagonist that I like. It's so normal, but not. It's like, think of it like being 90% everything's normal, everything's cool, but something's off. Something's just off. It's something that can be subtle enough that if you're not super familiar, you may not even notice. Like, for example, deer have their eyes here on the side versus like humans have their eyes here. This is so we can, like, it's an evolutionary thing. And the not deer has its eyes here, not here like normal. So if you're not super familiar with a deer, you'll see it. You won't know what's wrong, but you'll know something is wrong. And it's enough for you to ignore it at first. And that's probably when it's too late. And that's what I love. That's what I love about the not deer. Minus its completely unoriginal name.
The eyes were always the thing I heard about more than anything. And I liked it because of the fact that it wasn't like I tell people that I write based on reality and then shove it over the cliff. It's grounded, you can relate to it, it's real life, and then it's not.
Right.
But I always akin that one to like any photos I've seen or anything like that of, sightings and that kind of thing. It always feels like it was something odd that happened on a trap cam somewhere on a trail.
Like comparing that to the Flatwoods Monster, where it's like Frankenstein type metallic monster, green, 10 feet tall, glowing eyes and stuff like that. Something that you see that you're like, ooh, that's not normal. But you see the not deer, and the not deer will just be trampling along. And matter of fact, like with the multiple joints and moving kind of janky, if it's not moving, those are things you're not going to notice. So if you just see a deer off in the woods, you're just like, oh, look, that's a deer. Kind of weird, but that's a deer, right? And that's an easy thing to dismiss. And that's how you get you. It's like, think about like an opening scene in a horror movie where it's like they notice something, but it's like, that can't be it. That can't be what I'm sure it's fine. And you ignore it and you move on about your business. And then you get got.
It's like bad taxidermy.
Yeah, the not deer, I feel like, is probably, I'm unfamiliar with all this stuff, but I feel like if you're going to take something and reroute it through horror, the not deer is probably the one to rock with, or something inspired by the not deer. If it's not a deer, maybe a bear or a bird of some sort, or maybe even a house cat that's just strange in some uncanny way.
Mm-hmm.
Easy to toy with, easy to dismiss.
Mm-hmm.
I have an anecdote if we want to hear that.
Sure.
One evening just past dusk, a teenager driving through the Blue Ridge Mountains saw what he thought was a deer standing in the road, so he slowed down. But his headlights hit it. The creature turned its head in an oddly human way and locked eyes with him. Its limbs were too long, its joints bending in the wrong direction, and its chest seemed to rise and fall like it was breathing too fast. Frozen in place, he watched as it slowly walked off the road on two legs. When he finally got home, he told his grandfather, who only said, "That ain't a deer, boy. Don't stop it for it the next time."
He's lucky there is a next time. He's lucky there was a next time.
I get chills just hearing that.
All I felt was nope. There's so much nope in that story. There's so much nope in that story that Jordan Peele might sue. That's how much nope is in that story. By the way, Nope's a good movie. It's not great. It's a good movie. It's not as good as Get Out, but still good. Yeah, that's nah. I'm good.
My earlier comment on the, it would be interesting to see where this stuff ends up in popular culture. I know some things have been in The Simpsons and some of the animated shows. Apparently, a possible not deer is featured prominently in the Adventure Time episode No One Can Hear You, serving as the main antagonist. While not deer weren't relevant at the time, he has forward-facing eyes and walks upright. He's often considered the second scariest character on the show for this reason.
Yep.
So now I got to go watch the episode.
Yeah, no, man. See,
it was spooky.
This is where I screwed up. This is where, see, I told you, rabbit hole material. First thing I looked up was like the not deer stories, right? And I put that in quotes because you want that all together. Then there's not deer stories, just like from Reddit. And Reddit is a wonderful, fantastic, terrible, horrible place. And because there's so much you can get from Reddit, but it's an open door to more and more rabbit holes. I might want to put this down because I feel like this will be my weekend will be studying the not deer by itself. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. But I would love to go through that because like people are still telling these stories. These cryptids, the story behind cryptids, they don't die. They're just seen differently or seen in different places, or they're just all revamped. It's like urban legends. Mm-hmm. And I would love to hear modern accounts of Mothman or sheep squatch or not deers. Combination of words I didn't think I'd ever say, but Merry Christmas. Here we
go. Okay. Part 3, lesser known and localized legends.
I have 4 more on my little sheet here. Let's see if you cover them.
Okay. The Raven Mocker.
Got one.
Bingo.
Yeah. In indigenous lore, there exists a witch-like entity said to feed on the dying, drawing out their final breath to extend its own unnatural life. Often invisible as it flies through the night, its presence is marked only by the haunting call of the raven near the homes of the gravely ill. Both respected and feared, this being walks the line between spirit and predator, its legend serving as a powerful metaphor for grief, the fear of death, and the consequences of spiritual imbalance.
I love this one too, because this one's got enough of a story with it that it's like it haunts those who are already dying. So there's a level of disconnect with something that's like, it's like, oh, well, that person's dying anyway. So do we stop the Raven Mocker? Mm-hmm. Do we try to save what do we do? If a person is like DNR, are you supposed to try to save them? Like, would you want to save them? Like, but what benefit is it to save them if they're just going to turn around and die anyway? Like, it's crazy. There's so much story available there. It can go in a million different directions. And I love this.
And oddly enough, it gets portrayed like a Yeti or like a white Sasquatch. It looks more like Bigfoot than anything, except for sometimes they'll have the raven head on it. But usually it looks like Bigfoot in most of the photos that you pull up.
And since it's like an evil spirit, you don't fight it the same way you would like the Mothman or the Flatwood Monster. It's a spirit. So you're not going to club it in the head with a baseball bat and expect something to happen to it. Like, no, it's an evil spirit. You have to deal with it differently.
I don't think it's evil. I think
that's how it was described to me. When I read it, it says evil spirit. So.
Yeah, I don't have it that it's a spirit. It literally looks like a Bigfoot with a raven head on it. It's weird.
Yeah, because
there's a couple of different versions of it.
Yeah, because what I read was evil spirit that takes the hearts of the dying to stay alive. It appears as old humans, like old people, and it can also turn invisible, only being seen by those who are dying or those who are hunting them. And I'm like, this
Very
is
Grim Reaper. Yeah.
it's very. I love it because it's like it's the threat that's there but not there. It's there for those who it's coming for. So it's one of those. If you see it, it's almost too late.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, what can't you do with that kind of story? What can't you do with that kind of creature? The stories are endless.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a million and there's a bunch of story. Everyone talked about how every story's been told already. Every song has already been sung. No, there's plenty of things out there. There's a million and one untold stories that us as creatives, us as independents can just get out there and start writing. So as long as you got one of these.
I've already been making notes on stories.
Right. As long as you got one of these, you're good. Go do some research. Find something weird and strange and make it weird and strange in comparison. And then you got yourself a whole ass story almost. Not every story has to have a love story in it, by the way. Just throwing that out there. Not everyone has to have love interest. Calm down.
Yeah, that's a whole other genre that's popped up.
Like, let's just pause. Like this. It's okay.
We have a popper now.
Okay. It's okay if those two don't hook up. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's cool if they do. It's also cool if they don't. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, Popper Night hubby is in chat. And yeah, Morg's Hauntings is awesome on YouTube, but there's also a few that like he and I were like, oh yeah, let's do a not necessarily a van life thing, but a weekend getaway van life kind of thing would be cool. Let's go to the campground and go to I don't know if I want to go anymore. I keep seeing all this stuff in campgrounds, and there's stuff in the stuff in the woods or something, weird noises, or somebody comes out and messes with a tent, or something goes missing, or
and this goes into that like that cabin in the woods trope. I always tell y'all, like, y'all ain't getting me in the cabin in the woods.
Unless there's a bunch of people, and then
it would take a whole. No, I've seen that movie too. It's like, but these are the kind of things you can take something like the cabin in the woods trope, and it can be, a raven mocker. Someone's last day. Their
hospice
their
trip.
stage 4 cancer. They don't want to die in a hospital. They want to spend it in their family cabin in the woods. Fantastic. Now they all go gather together for one last family holiday in the woods, and the raven mocker or some similar creature is coming for that family member, and everyone else is trying to protect them, and everyone dies in the midst of it. Like, there's a story. You're welcome to it.
On part of the ritual.
Yeah, you're there for. You're welcome to use that story. It's fine. I won't write it. Actually, I might now. I don't think about it. The more I think about it, I might write that one. So that's race. Who writes it first? It'll be you. I'm not writing. I have too many projects in front of me. Go ahead and take that one.
Okay, so I could talk about the little people and the fairy folk, but that's like a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
Put it on the book.
But
sign me up for that one. I have a lot of stuff.
Let me make a note of that.
Because this stuff is, here's the thing. This stuff is fascinating, right? This is not a category of anything I dove into outside this week. And I love this stuff, man. Like, these are fascinating creatures, however their origins. It's just fascinating. It's just, these are stories to me, but these are, fears of people who live in these regions. These are commonplace concerns and worries for people, everybody in West Virginia, apparently. Shout out to West Virginia. Are you okay? Because you got all the monsters. You got all the monsters there. Oh,
and it's such a small state, you know.
Like, there ain't that much West Virginia.
And a lot of people
Are
have
you
moved
okay?
away.
If you're from West Virginia, just type "I'm okay" in the comments. Just let us know you're okay. We're worried about you.
And we're worried about you.
Yeah, Flatwood monsters and
Yeah, Tennessee gets a lot of
Sheep
that too.
Squatch and Mothman and a couple others that haven't been named yet. So I don't want to do my bingo card here.
Okay. I could talk about like the modern revival in the media, but I want to hear the last couple that you have on your bingo card that I didn't mention.
Okay. I have the Chupacabra.
Bingo.
There is
I didn't think that was Appalachian.
There is a different one. So there's like a variant one. Apparently there's like the one from lore that's like maybe European or such, but there's one here and it's 4-legged, sometimes walk on two, about 4 feet tall, spikes on its back, fangs, talons, pig nose. That's the nose that I made.
Okay.
So there's like a West Virginian version of it.
Of course it's West Virginia.
Again, West Virginia. I'm worried about you. I'm genuinely concerned about West Virginia. I'd say I'm going to visit and check on you, but I'm not. I don't want a sheep squatch to come get me. Or the Grafton monster from Grafton, West Virginia. I swear I didn't just look up West Virginia. I looked up cryptids, and they just all happen to be from West Virginia. This is a hairless Bigfoot / troll kind of combination looking thing. It's humanoid, about 7 foot tall, and it's thought to be about 900 pounds. I mean, short nose. This is the Grafton monster. And then one of my favorites, the smoke wolf. I like wolves.
I'm big into wolves.
Surprise, surprise. The guy whose name Moon is, he likes wolves. But the smoke wolf, he's large, black fur, red eyes, and he can transform into a cloud of smoke. That's like the dopest wolf ever. I need to find like a smoke wolf graphic of some sort and put it on a thing.
I found the Chupacabra one. It is terrifying. I found the
You saw that? Yeah, crazy. Just
can I share it or no?
I don't care.
That's something I can.
Yeah, that thing. Crazy, right? Yeah. That's a house cat gone no.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. No. That's a good way to put it.
Like just no. But like that smoke wolf was like the thing I like about that Chupacabra versus and then like the smoke wolf, they're creatures we already familiar with, like, right? That looks like a house cat, like a hairless cat. And that can creep on through your neighborhood and no one would notice it. At night, it looked like a cat just walking around. That's infiltration at its best. That's camouflage at its best. A smoke wolf, that just sounds badass. I don't care who you are. If I was cool enough to go by the smoke wolf, I would. I'm not that cool. And I'm pretty damn cool. I ain't that cool. I wish I could be the smoke wolf. I need to find some smoke wolf graphics that I can use and put.
I'm sure between Ren and I.
So you got two artists here. I already got a T-shirt in my head, and I was like, I got it.
We're gonna figure this out, yeah. Because smoke wolf shit, that just sound cool. The smoke wolf, I'm telling you, this sounds cool.
That sounds cool.
It sounds dope.
We have a smoke raven in game in Guild Wars 2. I always thought was cool.
That would be dope. I like ravens more than crows. Nothing personal.
I like both.
Now this is not a war between publishers. This is just birds. 2 crows versus 3 ravens.
Well, 2 crows is the art shows. It's not the publishing company.
That works. See, there's nothing. You have so many things and labels and titles.
All the things.
Shout out to Hillbilly and 3 Ravens. Well, I'm talking about. All of which you can visit if you come to the Imaginarium in July. Because we'll be there. All of us. We just show up sometimes. We're just there. Okay. All of our smoke creatures.
All right. I accidentally closed my notes. Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
So today we talked about cryptids in
Sure did.
Appalachia specifically, and not just any cryptids, but those specifically from Appalachia.
From West Virginia.
So
They're all from West Virginia.
So next time you're in the hills and you hear something strange, it might just be the wind, or it might be something older, something watching. So
I purposely stared into my microphone, not my camera. That was on purpose.
thanks for sticking it out to the end, guys. So on Monday, as mentioned before, we will be watching both the old version and the new version of Candyman, comparing the old and the new for the
I'm not going to
first
say it again
time.
because I think we might be close to 5.
And let's see. I mostly hang out on Facebook and Bluesky, but if you Google Sako or Sako to me or Cass Voigt, you'll find all of my stuff, my books, my art, my websites, etc., etc., etc. Where can
I'm going to go before Ren because Ren does our outro.
Mhm.
She's here. So I'm going to let Ren do the outro when she tells her stuff. But me, I'm available on DejuanLHearn.com. You can find me on social media as DL Hearn Writes. While you're here, like, subscribe, do all the cool things. If you're got cryptids we didn't talk about, if you know some, put them in the comments. I'd like to research them.
Definitely.
If you're from West Virginia, please tell me you're okay. Just leave West Virginia. Are you all right? I just need to know you're good. You can find me mostly on Bluesky, but I'm kind of everywhere else too. If you see DL Hearn Writes somewhere, it's probably me. And then I'll pass it on to Ren so she can do our cool outro after telling you where you can find all of her 4,500 different things that she does.
If you literally put Renmeleon in quotation marks in search, there's about 10 pages of nothing but me. But you can go to renmeleon.com. You can go to Linktree. Renmeleon has links to all the things. I do several different things in several different industries. I stream live Monday night, Wednesday morning, Wednesday night, and Saturday on Twitch. So you can participate and be included in books, decks, and all sorts of stuff. But as far as the outro, want a writer's insight, want smart questions and fun, intelligent conversations, want to support real people and indie creators, Sako and the Moon is your home. Hit like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to all. We'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you.